You guys, what up? What up? What up? What up? What up? Of course, the football season is about to end, but the basketball season is right in there right now, and we're rolling in with the playoffs. So just thought, because I think once this week ends, next week is where I'll put my focus on into the playoffs because there's so much stuff to do. It's hard for me to watch regular season games, but every time there's like playoffs or so forth, my mind is always in there. So, look, just to start things off before I bring in my guest, I like what the Raptors did last season and so forth was crazy. It was absolutely incredible what they did, man. And you see, because I in almost every sport I watch, I always like the David and Goliath, and I always like the unlikely champion to win. And people may disagree with this, but I've always said that if the Warriors were fully fit, Raptors don't stand a chance. They don't stand a chance. If Durant, Steph, all those guys are like, they don't stand a chance. But it is what it is. At the end of the day, it is what it was. Klay Thompson obviously went off injured, and the Raptors won. And I thought that was just such a great story in terms of the first ever victory, first non-American team, and the whole Kawhi thing. And we're going to talk about the Kawhi narrative very soon, man. So let's just start with something that opens up so I can bring in my guys in here. So LTA, in your opinion, who are the clear? Because let's start with that. Who are the clear favorites in your eyes, and why?
So listen, this is a complicated question because this is probably the first year in a long time where there's like real parity in the NBA. The Warriors leaving was a gift to everyone who actually loves competitive basketball, right?
Cheat team, cheats.
Yeah, I didn't want to watch that because if you watch the Western Conference Finals last year, they would sleepwalk through each game and turn it on for 10 minutes, and they swept the Blazers. That's how much better they were than everyone else. I don't want to watch that. I don't ever want to see that again. This year, the clear contenders are, in the general sense, I'm gonna tell you mine after. The clear contenders are the Bucks, the Lakers, and the Clippers. Those are the ones that everyone is like, the Bucks are going to the finals, and the Lakers and the Clippers are going to have to battle it out. And each of those teams are extremely flawed. The Bucks are extremely flawed because Giannis is a player with a limited skill set. Giannis is bad at shooting free throws. He doesn't have a consistent jump shot, right? And then the second best player on the team, Chris Middleton, who Bleacher Report listed this year as a top 10 player in the NBA, is one of the most overrated players in the NBA. He had a 50-40-90 season, right? And they're like, oh, he's this great shooter like Steph or like Larry Bird. They forget to mention that Malcolm Brogdon last year had a 50-40-90 season. If you're a good shooter and you play with Giannis, all your shooting numbers are going to go up and be wonderful. So he's overrated. The Lakers, they don't have any guard play, and LeBron looks like he's slowing down, and the Clippers have no chemistry. No chemistry. None. And Montrezl Harrell looks out of shape because, God rest her soul, his mom passed away during the bubble, so he had to leave, and he looks really out of shape. Lou Williams went to a strip club and played himself, and he looks out of shape. The three contenders all are so flawed, and I love it. But those are the three because they have like the three best players: LeBron, Giannis, and Kawhi. Those are the three best players in the NBA.
Samuel, what about you? Who do you put as clear favorites?
I'm not gonna lie. I'm gonna have to agree with what he said because literally there are no clear favorites in this NBA season. As he said, the couple of years it was the Golden State Warriors. They don't have to play and they will sweep a team. That's how unfair their team was.
They were a cheat team, which is why I hated it. Which is why we will get to discussion afterwards because I've got some things to say about Steph Curry, but we'll get
easy. I like Steph Curry a lot, but I'm not gonna lie. I don't know how Adam Silver allowed that team to happen because that was just ridiculous. But again, like this season, this playoff season, you don't know who's gonna win it. Now, I'm gonna add one team to the three that sorry, I forgot your name.
LTA
mentioned, and I will put in the Raptors as one of the favorites as well. mainly because the Raptors have such a balanced squad. One of the most balanced squads in the NBA.
Yeah,
And
but who are they without Kawhi? As balanced as
no,
they are, you need that.
Pascal.
And this
I
is a
believe in
discussion.
Pascal.
This is a discussion that I will have for the last year Raptors, because it wasn't really all down to Kawhi. Kawhi was the main super that won them that. However, because he has such a good backup team to back him up as role players, they did the jobs like Van Fleet, Kyle Lowry, Siakam came up, Spicy P. Like, they have such a balanced team around. They can push it. But obviously, as the LTA said, that the Lakers, obviously they got LeBron, they got AD. However, they don't have any 3-point shooters. And you saw in the last game against Portland, they out blitzed them with 3-pointers. I mean, Danny Green, I don't know what he was doing, but he couldn't make a shot. But LA Clippers, as LTA said, they don't have chemistry. I feel like they need another year to really and truly gel. And Milwaukee Bucks. Now, HH, I know you're gonna be very familiar with this term. Giannis is how would I say it? He's a regular season merchant. He's a regular season.
That's James Harden. That's James Harden. James Harden is a regular season merchant.
I believe that Giannis is a regular season merchant, because what I see of that team and him in general, like, come on. You should be probably the best team in the NBA from what you're doing, and yet you can't get over the line. That it don't make sense. You can't even get to a final. Like, really? Nah. But yeah, it's very open this year. It's very open. I mean, like, anyone can win it. Anyone can win it.
Okay. Rebirth, man. What about you? Who do you put as clear favorites, man?
I'm probably going to reiterate the points that the others have made. It's very hard to pick clear favorites. I think it's very well balanced, and in many ways, I'm kind of bummed out that Steph and Clay or KD and Kyrie weren't able to play, because before I get into just if KD and Kyrie are in the Nets, they have a very good shot. But I digress.
Next year.
Next year, yeah, I like it's gonna be spicy. But the Giannis and the Bucks should have a good shot, but just like the other person said, Giannis is geared towards the regular season, because the way in which he plays, he has a hard time making shots when the defense gets tough, because during the playoff, the lane to the rim gets very, very clogged, and people are playing much harder. And so if you don't have a jump shot, if you don't have a mid-range, if you don't have a 3-point shot, it gets harder for you to score. It gets harder for you to make plays. And so usually this is like the running thing with Giannis. During the regular season, people are not really that interested in trying to stop you or play good defense or clog up the middle of the basket or whatever. But during the playoffs, it starts to get harder. And so far, Giannis hasn't been able to beat that. I think the Raptors' point is very good. When you watch the Raptors play, they have a very balanced squad. They don't have a closer in Kawhi, but it's enough that they can give everyone a run for their money. I also want to shout out the Heat, Miami Heat, and Jimmy Butler, because those guys, they play hard, they work hard. Bam Adebayo, is that his name? I think so. He's very, very good rim protector. He's doing his thing. Jimmy Butler's doing his thing. And finally, I'm not even actually going to go with the Lakers or the Clippers in this regard, because that's beating a dead horse. They're going to be there because they have AD, they have Kawhi, they have Paul George, they have Anthony Davis. But I want to say that if Westbrook can join James Harden, I think Houston can say what's up. Houston can say something. So I'm just going to end with that. There are no clear favorites, but if I had to pick, I'm picking those teams. If Westbrook can join Harden, they can say something. They can say something.
Okay. Yasir Said, man. What are you? Who do you think? Who do you put as clear favorites?
Hello everyone. How's everyone doing?
Good.
So, man, this, like everyone said, this is a crazy playoff, because I feel like this is so hard to pick a favorite, because I mean, shout out to what the Raptors are doing. My God, I mean they just lost Kawhi Leonard, and they just look like they're not missing him, bro. And that's crazy. That is crazy. But I will lean. I don't know. I have a weird feeling about the Rockets this season, because I feel like, okay, so you look, people said so in the beginning people were saying the Bucks are going to come out in the East, and people are saying it's either going to be a Clippers or Lakers that's going to go to the finals. But you look at the Clippers, man, they're in big trouble. Like this Mavs team is no joke. Um, and the Lakers, I'm gonna reserve my comments about the Lakers. I want to see what they do today. But I genuinely believe the team, because I believe that the league did change, and I feel like the team that shoots the best percentage in 3 points and shoots more 3 points and makes some more 3 points will win this season, this playoffs. That's just generally what I believe. I just feel like that's where the game is headed to, and that's what the game is already. And I mean, if your team is not shooting well from three, I feel like you're gonna struggle in this playoffs. And the team that does best in the playoff, that shoots the best in terms of 3 point shot shooting, I think that team is gonna. And that's team for me is the Houston Rockets. So yeah.
Okay. I want to now ask this now, and this is something that just to get into sports psychology now, because obviously COVID, no fans, and so forth. So this is a whole new dimension that they're playing in inside this bubble, neutral venue, no fans. Now, people have sort of said that, especially when LeBron went to the Heat, that he suffered under that pressure. And that pressure got to him, leading to that the Mavericks winning in that first year. Now, people may say if Kawhi had made those free throws, the Spurs would have one more championship. But then again, he said, so if they win that, are they hungry enough for the next year and so forth? So my thing is, which team do you think this favors? Because this is a very different kind of knockout thing in terms of, basically, as I say, it's almost like pickup basketball where there are no fans, there's no glitz, there's no glamour and everything. It's just you versus me, let's go, let's roll. So do you still think that that's not going to have a major effect on performances, or do you think there are particular players, particular teams, Dame and Dame Carmelo with the Trailblazers? Do you think there are particular teams that would actually be sort of extra energized with the fact that, oh no, they're no fans, and this is a bit more raw, so therefore we could actually do a lot better in this kind of neutral venue circumstance than others? LTA.
No, not really, because I think the great players, like you're talking about Dame's going to do that in any building. I think what it affects is role players, because they always talk about how role players in the playoffs, they play good at home and bad on the road. But if there's no fans and you're playing in the same building all the time, you're probably going to get a more consistent effort from role players. That's why when you looked at the Mavericks last night, they were able to win, even though Luka Doncic had 5 fouls in the third quarter, because Trey Burke was able to stay confident. All the role players were still able to be confident because there's no LA Clippers crowd booing you down and talking crazy to you. So I think it only really affects the role players. Stars perform no matter where they are, no matter what time, whenever. James Harden, empty building, full building, James Harden's going to give you that every night. It's Eric Gordon who it's Ben McLemore. Those people, it helps them. It's easier for them. That's how I look at it. Role players, for sure, it's not as hard to perform.
Okay, Samuel?
Yeah, I think just to echo what you said about role players, generally superstars, what they're gonna do is they're just gonna pick up the ball and just do their thing. They're just gonna do their thing. Because let's forget the NBA. Let's look at where NBA stars go to these like pickup games in the streets and stuff like that. Like this is what they do. This is just what they do. So this is just another, okay, we're in one place, pickup game, best out of 7. Whoever loses goes home. Like, you get what I'm saying? However, what I would say is that there's an added element in an advantage to these people, as in they're not traveling. They're not traveling at all. As in, you got LA Clippers facing Trailblazers. That's a journey. That is a journey, and that can psychologically affect probably as he said, the role players, because as they said, role players don't really play good away. But now you got role players that are not traveling and then can just focus on one thing. You had the Dallas Mavericks doing what they were doing. You have the Raptors doing what they're doing. You have Portland Trailblazers doing what they are doing. Do you understand? So it's more of a benefit that they're all in one place because you can actually see the true nature of these teams and these players. So you can get the best out of all of them. I'm saying that if a superstar right now is choking under the lights of this, they're not a superstar at all. They're not a superstar at all. So yeah, it's a benefit to all. It's a benefit to all.
All right. Rebirth. Rebirth.
Yes. So
All
for
right,
me, I think.
Yeah.
Sure, go ahead. Okay, so
Yeah, go for it.
All right. In reference to the question that you asked, I think I have mainly two main points about the whole stoppage and the being in the bubble. On one end, I think that the restart allowed people to sort of check themselves because with the Trailblazers and the Lakers, for example, it's sort of twofold because you'll notice that during the regular season, the Lakers were peaking at the right time. They were looking like, being first seed. Everyone was getting into their stride. If they would have gone into the playoffs, then everyone would have been hit peak. But then once the break happened, and now it's like they're now having to sort of refigure out what it is that they're supposed to do, and as evidenced by their playing leading up to the playoffs, they're struggling. If you look at the Trailblazers, the opposite happened. They weren't playing so well, but then the break allowed them to actually band together. Like, okay, like let's double down. We have a chance, and now it's like they're peaking at the right time, and now they're giving the Lakers a lot of trouble. So I think in that regard, the whole bubble thing it impacts people in different ways because Anthony Davis is a star, but clearly, like against the Trailblazers, he did not play very well. 8 of 24, that was terrible. That was terrible. So stars do what they have to do, but the narrative in terms of the bubble, it does affect everyone equally, and people are reacting to it differently. As far as the teams that the bubble favors most, I think that it favors the shooting-based team, like the backcourt type teams, because I was watching. I've forgotten what I was watching, but then they mentioned how with the lack of fans, it feels like you're just shooting in a gym by yourself to where there's no crowd noises. And so shooters have a better chance of making their shots. So like when you talk about the Houston Rockets, which is why I nominate them, now they're in a situation where they can just focus on hitting their 3-point shots. And the Houston, they take a lot of 3-pointers. If you're going to beat them, it's when they take them and they miss them. But if they take them and they make them, you're in a lot of trouble. When you look at Luka Doncic and co, those guys, the same thing. 3-pointers, shooters like Seth Curry and those guys, the same thing. And the same thing with the Trailblazers. If the Trailblazers, CJ and Dame, they're 3-point people, like the 3-point mid-range jumper type individuals. The lack of distractions in the stadium allows them to shoot better. So if the three teams I think this favors the most would be those teams: Houston, the Mavericks, and the Trailblazers.
Yes,
No way.
I to be honest, I feel like I mean the point that a lot of people are making is like if you're a superstar, you're going to perform no matter the circumstance. Well, at the end of the day, superstars and whoever, they're still human beings. And the brain is a very unique. The mentality in terms of being a professional player is a unique thing because everyone is different, and the idea that, especially in the NBA, home court crowd, in the NBA, also in the NFL, home court crowd is such a big advantage to the more talented teams for a reason. There's a reason why people try to get the number 1 seed because they want to have the home court, especially if you go down to Game 7. You want it in your home court, and the crowd really helps a lot of superstars. Like my prime example is for me, like if, for example, like a Steph Curry, or he's not playing right now. Like for me, Dame in Portland with that crowd. Every time he hits a shot, the whole building goes wild. Man, the Lakers and their crowd, every time LeBron just makes a dunk in the playoff game, it's just more. And then some superstars, they just feed off of that more. And maybe help a guy like Westbrook, maybe he gets too much into the crowd and he kind of like turns over the ball and does dumb stuff towards the end of the game and stuff like that. So I feel like you will see a more, in my opinion, is a more even game. if that makes any sense, because I feel like the crowd does help. It tends to help the bigger teams, in my opinion. So without the crowd, yeah, man. Like you imagine if James Harden is going through a rut and he's playing at home. If he hits a three, the crowd will go crazy. I mean, and then you can't put out that fire. You know.
Okay. So
can I just say one more thing?
Go for it.
I was gonna say, do you know what it will actually benefit the Raptors? Because if you look at the last year's finals, how many home games did the Raptors win? Please tell me, how many games did the Raptors win? They hardly won any, and they still won.
No, bro, Raptors are not doing anything.
So I feel like don't put them off like that. I feel like they're gonna sweep
No. I'm putting them off. It's like, my thing is that because a point made is that okay, Kawhi was good, but it was how good his supporting cast was. 100% yes. Pascal, Jeff Van Fleet, what's it called? My Congolese amigo.
Ibaka.
Ibaka as well. They were a great supporting cast as well. But my thing is, do they win without Kawhi? Yes, Kawhi needed a great supporting cast, but Kawhi was the secret linchpin. I mean, who else makes that shot against the 76ers to go through? So Kawhi was
most definitely
key icing on the cake.
I heard that. But I was just going to the point that they hardly won a game in the finals at home. So if it's gonna benefit a team, it might just benefit the Raptors because they usually choke at home.
Okay, so I wanted to bring this because this was something that I think some debates that guys were having, obviously after the Lakers Trailblazers game, because I saw Steph Curry was trending. I was like, why is Steph Curry trending? So basically, I think it was I forgot who was from NBA on TNT who said that
disrespect.
Yeah, Kenny Smith, who said that Dame Lillard is more lethal from range than Steph Curry. And here's my thing, and this is my thing between these two players, which is why I almost wish that Dame Lillard was on a truly great team to truly judge him. Because the thing about Dame is that we can't really know how well to judge him because it's like, okay, well, look at his supporting cast. So it'll be like, okay, now let's see how good you really are if you were on a peak Miami Heat, if you were on a San Antonio Spurs, and so forth. But my thing about this is that Steph Curry, this is how I see it, and I want to see what you guys view. Steph Curry is one of the most ridiculous shooters I've ever seen. Mm-hmm. In terms of this guy from anywhere at any angle, boom. I'll be watching Warriors games and I'll be like, that's like, how do you defend that? This guy's launching this thing from Timbuktu and boom, it's so literally they'll just have 3 possessions. He'll just go 3, 3, 3, boom. Like, what the heck? But my thing about it is that Steph doesn't have a cold ice mentality. Who would I win the ball with last possession? Game tied. I would rather the ball in Klay Thompson's hand than Steph Curry's hand. Ooh. Steph Curry doesn't have, and for me, who would I win the ball? What are we talking about? All the pressure in the world, Steph Curry or Dame? I want Dame. Steph just doesn't have the kind of killer mentality. Okay, that's okay. LT, I see you shaking your head, man. Please tell me with a straight face. Last possession. This is a shot to save all shots. Last possession. All the pressure in the world. Would you rather have Steph over? So you'd rather have Steph over Klay Thompson, or Steph over Dame?
Listen, I understand the history of Dame. Dame is a beast. He's hit some game winners. But Steph and Dame have gone head to head, and it didn't work out that way. On your first point about the shooting from distance, right? It looks easier with Dame because Dame doesn't when Steph does it, it looks like a heave. Dame shoots it like a normal shot. But also, we have to understand the limitations of the Warriors' offense. Steve Kerr would never let Steph take those type of shots. That's 1. 2, Steph Curry has never had examples of us to say he's not clutch because he never gets to take them. The only time you can really remember was last finals when the team was depleted and Serge Ibaka was reaching up and he missed a shot. I think, to tie the game or to win the game in Game 6, right? But Damian Lillard has been on inferior teams, so we can't even come to that realization, because in 2016, when Steph is beating everybody by 30 every night when he's healthy, and shooting like 45% on 10 shots a game, we can't say that if it's at the end of the game he's going to miss the shot. Steph is a shooting machine, and I understand that Dame is the flavor of the week. Dame is one of my favorite players in the NBA, but Steph is a machine, a prodigy that we've never seen before. And if the shot is first quarter or last quarter, the only sensible person to give it to is Steph Curry. I can understand maybe the defense on Steph would make it so that you need to give it to Clay. But if Steph has one person on him or he's open, Steph is making that 45% of the time.
No. But just before I go to us, but isn't there a difference between shooting within 3 quarters and there's pressure? You have to make it. If you miss, we lose.
Mm-hmm.
That's different.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm saying that knowing the personality and the makeup of Steph, and let's say you had a team. You're the manager of a team, and in your 5, this is the last possession. You miss this, you're out.
Mm-hmm.
So you need to make this 3 to either tie or win the game. And you have Dame, Klay Thompson, and Steph in your team. Mm-hmm. Who has the ball to take the shot in the last possession?
It's different, because if I just want someone to get their own shot,
don't dare.
No. Can you let me land? Let me land. If you want someone to create a shot on their own, like a break you down, I want Dame. If you want someone who is a catch and shoot, Steph and Clay, it doesn't matter. The only reason I can understand why someone would say Clay is because Clay is someone who's like kind of ditzy and he doesn't care. So he doesn't really feel the pressure that Steph feels. But I'm telling you, Damian Lillard has never shot 40% from 3 ever in a season, in his entire career. Steph does that in his sleep. That's what I'm saying. In his sleep. We can't do this. I understand Steph rubs people the wrong way, but we can't bring in the clutch D gene argument like we did with LeBron James 10 years ago, which was proved to be nonsense. We can't do this to Steph. We cannot repeat history's nonsense. We can't. Steph, at the end of the game, you give him the ball. I understand he's not as strong. His handle is not as aggressive as Dame's, and he's not as good of a finisher when he goes to the rack. But if we're talking about the last shot of the game, you give the ball to Steph 10 times out of 10, and you don't think about it.
Okay, Samuel, where do you stand on this, man?
All right, cool. I'm gonna break this down real quick. When you're looking at Steph and Dame, right? I love Dame. He's one of my top 5 point guards in the NBA. Steph is the better shooter and Steph is the better player, hands down,
without a doubt.
Now, with his shooting style, with Dame's shooting style, if you actually look at where he shoots mostly from the top of the key. With Steph Curry, he will shoot anywhere. And it doesn't matter. It's going in. Now, Dame, he has a very high percentage when he's shooting his threes, but mainly from the top of the key, because let's take the game against the Lakers, and there was another game when they were chasing the playoff spot. I forgot what team it was where he scored like 60. Most of his threes were near the top of the key. Most of these threes, he would just take it off the dribble, or catch and shoot it from the top of the key. Now, most of Steph's shots are variations from the top of the key, from the corner, from the parking lot, from the moon, from anywhere. They're going in. They are going in. Now, when we're talking about clutch plays and clutch moments,
everything is about this moment. The last possession, high pressure, high stakes.
What I will say to you is that I do admit this. Maybe Steph Curry lacks this a little bit. And I feel like Dame is the 4th quarter man. When it's his time, it's his time. He will make it. But when you said, would you either give the ball to Steph Curry or Klay Thompson? Forget those two. If you're talking about those Warriors team, I'm giving the ball to KD. Because he's making that.
Now we talk.
He's making it. Look at the what's it called? The playoffs against the Cavaliers when KD made that shot up on LeBron.
Yeah.
He's making that.
Yeah.
That's normal to him. That's clutch genes. That's what separates the world-class superstars to the regulars. Do you understand?
Okay, but as I ask LTA then, you're the manager, last possession, Dame, Steph, and Clay are on your team. Who gets the ball?
I want the ball in Dame's hands.
Yeah, that's what I would say, because I feel like even though Curry's clear the better shooter and he's clear the better player, what I would say is that because Curry, he kind of goes into the pressure in the last minutes of the game, and I've seen him. Let's talk about the comeback with the Golden State Warriors against the Cavaliers.
Behind the back pass, out of bounds. I'm like,
yeah, that was it. Steph can do some stupid stuff.
The turnover
in the last minutes,
man.
And the way Kevin Love actually defended him on that last play was actually very surprising, because he couldn't shake him and he made a shot, went way off. So that in that aspect, clutchness, Steph doesn't really have it. However, I do agree with LTA said, where he said he hasn't had enough moments for me to judge him properly on his clutchness, because most of the time Golden State Warriors are beating you by 20 or 30. So there's no point.
On the bench by the fourth quarter.
Exactly. He's
not, his knee.
But the few times, like the 2 or 3 times he hasn't really shown me. He's shown me that he's crumbled under the pressure, which I do. When Steph Curry comes back, I do need to see more of in those last minutes, because now the Warriors have probably a deader team now, because of everything that's happening.
We're going to find out next season who the real Steph is. Next season, there's no KD to save him. We're going to find out next season who's the real Steph.
Okay, rebirth, man. What do you say on this rebirth?
Yeah, so you guys have made a lot of good points. About next season is going to be great. KD, Kyrie, all these players are coming back. It's going to be great. But so to your question, I'm going to break this down in a different way right here. I think Damian Lillard is he's taking harder shots from farther out and making a very good percentage of them. He's making don't quote me on this, but I feel like Dame takes Steph is clearly the better shooter and the better player. But I feel like Dame seems to be taking more shots from farther out than Steph, even though it's our assumption that Steph could make those shots if he wanted to. I think for Clay gets hotter faster than Steph. Like Clay can, he gets hot really, really fast. So I think there are 3 different qualities that the players present. Dame is taking harder shots from farther out. Steph is the better shooter who will make most of the threes he takes, and Clay will get hotter faster. Now, to your point about Steph, can you hear me? Sorry about that. To the point about Steph and his clutch gene, I do remember Steph hitting that long 3 to knock KD and OKC out. I don't know if that was a game 7, but I do remember the shot that Steph took to knock OKC out back when OKC had the 3-1 lead on him. So it's not like he doesn't know what to do. And if we're trying to talk about clutch shots, I do want to shout out Kyrie Irving, who I think took probably the most important shot in NBA history in terms of what he did to the Cavaliers. I think we need to shout out Kyrie.
Hey, LC, don't do your hand like that, man. Give some love to what Kyrie did, man.
Yeah,
it's never talked about. It's never talked about.
That was a huge shot. That was a huge shot. LeBron James gave the ball to Kyrie. He called during the timeout. He was like, "Give the ball to Kyrie," and Kyrie hit the most important shot in NBA history. So I think one aspect of choosing who we want the last shot to be in is that Damian Lillard is clearly on a worse team, which means he's having a harder time making space to make those shots. Like Steph is playing on the team with KD and Klay Thompson. He has more space to work with. So Dame, the shots that Dame is making, he has a harder time getting the space to make them, and he's still making them in spite of that. And so for me, if you're giving me these three players, I'm sorry, I'm going to have to give it to Damian Lillard, because the assumption is if Dame had the spacing that Steph Curry has, I think that coupled with his clutch gene, he would probably take you. He's your best chance at taking you to the promised land.
Okay.
But you know what? People are forgetting the first season when Curry won MVP. When he just had Klay Thompson and Danny Green.
And also, he's never won Finals MVP, has he?
No.
Unfortunately, not. Yeah.
Yeah. He was gonna win it last like the 2018. He was going.
But do you know what? Iguodala won the MVP because of the way he defended LeBron.
Yeah,
But LeBron averaged like 35 and 35.
Yeah, that was. I
and
feel like
So how good is Steph Curry really? if
Chill,
he's
chill,
never
chill.
won a
We're not gonna do
finals
this.
MVP?
We're not gonna do this. We're not gonna do this.
We're not doing that,
No, no,
bro.
no. I'm asking the question.
Best
If
shooter.
you're
Oh my
so
god.
all of the 3 billion championships you've won, you've never gotten a single finals MVP.
No. This is what I have to, because Curry is my guy. I can't lie to you. The way he has changed the NBA
Single-handedly.
people are now, obviously
Because of
it's
the
a
rule
well-known
change.
fact. If you score the 3, it's more than a 2. But the way he has changed the game with these 3-point shots is legendary. People are also putting him up there with the way like Allen Iverson changed the game, the way that who else like Shaq changed the game with their style of plays. He's a legend in the NBA already. He's a legend. We cannot speak on his name like anyhow.
Okay. But before I go to Yasser's side, the thing with Curry is Iverson was the face of that team. He was the face of that team. Shaq, Kobe, rest in peace, super thing. But Shaq was the guy that won those finals MVP. We don't even look at about Jordan. Almost whether you want to say Jordan, Iverson, any of these dudes, Tim Duncan, they were the main stars.
Mhm.
Steph Curry, is he the main star of the Warriors?
Currently?
Yes.
Currently?
Curry
Yeah,
is
most definitely.
Yeah.
Most definitely.
When okay,
Curry
fine.
is the
When
system.
Kevin Durant is on the team, Kevin Durant, ain't nobody but God himself can defend Kevin Durant.
Oh, wait, no. Even if Kevin Durant was in the team, he was still the face of the team.
But he's
Yes.
not the best player.
Kevin Durant
He's not
knew
the
that.
best player, but he's
But he's
still
not better. But he's not better than. But
Kevin Durant knew that. Why do you think he
No,
knew?
no.
That's why
Why do you
Kevin
think he
Durant wanted to play with Steph. Steph Curry
Yeah.
is the system.
every finals Kevin Durant was there, he had 2 trophies in his hand: Finals
KD.
MVP and the championship trophy. But now that everybody's gone, it's Steph Curry is if they win next year, Steph Curry's getting the MVP and everything because he is the
But
face,
they
and the
won't
sun,
stop.
the moon and stars for that team.
No. They're basically without Kevin Durant, they're not doing anything.
Oh yeah, then
I wouldn't be wait, really?
Alright.
You guys are writing them off already.
No,
Okay,
they
let
have
me bring in your boy. Side. So yes, Sideman. So talk to me. Who do you want the ball? Who do you want to have having the ball last per possession? Dame, Clay, or Steph, and why?
You know, it's I feel like it's the evidence show that it's Dame. I just want to put respect on Steph's name that like Samuel put it perfectly. He changed the game. He's the reason. He has to be one of the reasons why Dame is even taking those shots, because I don't think any player thought that was possible, that someone can take shots like that and take it and everyone be okay with it. He changed the range of the game in terms of 3-point shooting. So he's by far the best shooter I've ever seen. And there's been amazing shooters I've watched, like Ray Allen, Reggie Miller, and so forth. He's the best shooter ever. But to be in terms of clutchness, in terms of who do you want the ball in their hands in the last minute, like I feel like there's nothing more damning than the final, the Cavalier final, where Steph had the opportunity to say, like, you know what, I'm clutch as well, and I'm gonna win this game 7, because it was a tie game. Or I think it was a tie game in like a minute left, and who made the most clutch shot that probably one of the most clutch shot I ever witnessed?
No.
Kyrie.
The most clutch shot of all time is Ray Allen.
No. I mean one. Yep, was one of. I mean, let's be real. That Ray Allen shot put them in overtime. This shot was the game winner. This shot won the game. So, and Steph had his chance. Steph had a shot after that. He had the ball in his hands to actually make a shot, and he missed. So, and then there's evidence there that Dame literally like ended series with his game-winning shot. So I'll say Dame, man. I want to have Dame with the ball in the hand the last minute. I want him.
Okay. So
Just sorry. How much do you rate Steph Curry's championships? Because in 2015, Kyrie and Kevin Love, they were injured. All right. And then in 2016, he got beat. And in 2017, they had KD. So it was like, when are we going to have that conversation?
What conversation is that?
I don't know.
What
really
conversation is that?
People don't want to have this conversation about
What conversation is that? Basketball is a team sport. If we start playing that game, we're gonna have to take away chips from the Pistons, because the Pistons played the Lakers.
Even the Miami Heat
in 1990, and James Worthy was injured, Byron Scott was injured. If we want to play these games, we can play these games. But then a lot of finals are people gonna have to give them back if we want to play this injured game. That's why I don't hear about the Raptors either. I don't hear about the Raptors.
With all due respect, see, the moment that Kevin Durant joined the Golden State Warriors, that is the biggest cheat team for me in NBA history. It's a cheat code. You have two of the greatest shooters in the history of the game, and you have arguably the best player on the planet.
But they didn't need him. That's the problem. They didn't need him.
I think the Raptors' final shows that they didn't need him after all.
They needed him badly.
No, I don't think they needed him, bro.
So I want to talk about LeBron. Now, LeBron needs to understand this. You are never, ever going to be as great as Jordan. It's never happening. And it's never happening. Sam, you laugh, but what I
agree with you.
No, but there's something needs to be said. Now, I'm not saying he'll never be as great. All I'm saying is this. Did Jordan ever do what LeBron did with the Cavs? I get Kyrie. I get that he doesn't do that without that Kyrie shot. All I'm saying is what he did with the Cavs, that's a very particular stat. So that's what I'm saying. That is a very particular stat with what he did. So my thing is this. If LeBron wins with the Lakers, what's the conversation? Because I'm going to get to Kawhi, but let's just deal with LeBron. You go into the Lakers and so forth, storied franchise, and I think Stephen A. Smith made this point that every superstar that has come to the Lakers has won at least one NBA championship. Everyone. So my thing is, let's say he wins. Does it change the conversation with how we view LeBron? Because I don't know how it changes anything really, because all you could say is that, how many superstars have won the NBA championship on 3 different teams, being the face of those 3 different teams. So let me come to LTA with this. So let's say he wins it with the Lakers. Mm-hmm. Do we now view him differently? Is he therefore greater? What does that achievement mean if he wins it with the Lakers?
The thing is, it's not really putting him in any different position, because the people, like LeBron says, he's not competing with anybody else in the league. He's competing with GOATs, right? With people like Kobe Bryant, who has 5 rings, Michael Jordan, who has 6. So if LeBron wins this year, he would have his 4th ring. It's not moving him up or down. It's just another step to get to 6 or 7. When LeBron gets to 6 or 7, then you bow and you say, "You are the one, sir. I'm never talking about."
Oh, easy. The one what?
If LeBron gets 6 or 7 rings, you bow when you say you are the be-all, the
That
alpha
is
and omega of basketball.
That is cap. No, I don't agree with that at all. That is cap. Oh no.
Hold on. If LeBron James,
wait. Let me be clear what you're saying. Let me be clear what you're saying. So you're saying if he wins 7,
yes,
you put him above Jordan.
It's not what I do. It's what is. He will be now the greatest player of the modern era because he's won 7 championships. It's a reason why they talk about Michael Jordan that way, because he won.
No, that's not why.
Because he never lost.
No. You know why they talk about Jordan?
You mean he never lost one? No.
No, let me break it down. Let me land. You've landed. Let me land my plane. Let me land my plane now.
Okay.
I'll get to you after.
Wait. How many did Russell win? Like 7 or 8?
11.
It's not about the number. It's the kind of player you are and how you do it. He never sniffed a game 7. His record is spotless. Do you want to talk about the Dallas Mavericks? Do you want to talk about the San Antonio Spurs? Who should have beaten him twice, if not for Ray Allen? If not for Ray Allen,
I'm
Spurs
still fuming about that.
won. So even if you win 7 or 8, we have to look at those losses. We have to. You can't just say,
got
"Oh,
swept in the
no."
finals.
Let's look at your entire finals run and compare it to Jordan's. You may have 7 or 8. Those losses were bad.
AJ,
Because remember, that was a stacked Miami Heat team. A stacked Miami Heat team. You were insulting my German brother on the Mavs, mocking him and so forth, and you looking really bad.
Quickly, can I say something? With regards to LeBron and Michael, I don't even want to go down this road because I feel like Michael Jordan is the greatest player, but LeBron is the best player I've ever seen. Michael Jordan is greater than him, but he's not better than LeBron. But what I'm saying is, if LeBron were to get to 7, 8 rings, right, we cannot use Michael Jordan's 6-0 in the finals as though Michael Jordan played 6 years in the NBA. Michael Jordan played a long time, and for Michael Jordan got drafted in 1984. He got to his first finals in 1990. What happened in those 6 years when Larry Bird was kicking him out the first round? LeBron James has been to 9 finals, 9 of them. We cannot penalize him for getting farther. If LeBron had lost in the third round, is that better for his record? No, I don't want to play that 6-0 game because Michael Jordan didn't play 6 years. If LeBron James wins 7, he's won 7. I don't care how many times he's been to the mountain. He's taken the mantle off the mountain 7 times. But it's not going to happen.
So before I go to Samuel, before he's done, does he win 7?
Of course not. No, he looks bad this year. LeBron is slowing down this year. That last game against Portland made me sad how LeBron looked. LeBron did not look as athletic anymore. I couldn't even believe what I was watching. LeBron is not the same player, and he needs a super team, and the Lakers are not going to do that right now. So he's not winning 7. No way.
So Samuel, where do you stand on this whole LeBron thing? Him winning with the Lakers, where he stands in the GOAT conversation?
Right. Can somebody remind me how many championships LeBron has?
3.
How many of those are you going to give him credit for?
3
alone. I can only think of 1.
Who said 3?
Wait, what?
All 3.
1.
How many finals MVPs does LeBron James have? How many finals MVPs does LeBron James have?
2.
How many finals MVPs does LeBron James have?
Oh
3.
man, don't do that.
How many finals MVPs does LeBron James have? I asked you a question.
Listen,
I asked everybody a question.
I'm going to give him 1.
He has. I don't care what you gave him. He has 3. Right? We just used that Steph Curry has none.
Iguodala got finals MVP. Doesn't mean that he was the best player on the court.
We can't just say finals MVP is the be all and end, because trust me, people can disagree. Okay, put it this way, LC. Without Kyrie, does he beat the Warriors without Kyrie? Remember, it wasn't just a game.
James ain't taking that shot.
We don't ask me those questions because without Scottie Pippen, Michael Jordan said it himself. Without Scottie Pippen, he doesn't win 6. So we're not playing those games of without him, without her. Yeah. Everything is how it is. LeBron James has 3 rings and 3 finals MVPs. That's it.
Okay.
We're not discussing that.
Let's admit that Ray Allen saved his ass.
Yes.
Let's admit that.
Yes.
Okay, cool. Because San Antonio is so hard for me to say this. I can't lie to you, but we choked that. If Kawhi Leonard took those 2 free throws, we would have won. The banners would have been coming down. San Antonio, we probably would have had how many championships by now. So Ray Allen said, I'm not gonna give that championship to him. So that Dallas, no, sorry, not Dallas. When Miami faced OKC, right? I'm not gonna lie to you. That was a very young OKC team. It's not the OKC team or the players that we know of today. Am I correct in saying that?
Sure.
Yeah, sure.
All right. So the only one that I can really and truly give him was the one against Golden State Warriors, mainly because of the mainly because of the clutch plays that he was making. Now, HH did say that if it wasn't for Kyrie Irving making that shot, would they have won? I would say LeBron made the smart play in giving him the shot. If you know what I'm saying.
Yeah, of course.
So that's why I'm gonna give it to him because of his leadership and everything that happened. Golden State Warriors were the clear favorites. They had the 73 and some ridiculous record. What was it? 73 and
9
or something.
That's it. 73 and 9.
Regular season record, yeah.
Exactly. So I will give that to LeBron. But the other two, I'm not going to give it to him. So if LeBron wins a 4th or a 5th championship, a little bit like LTA said, it's not really going to move him anywhere. I'm not going to lie to you. It's just I would say like he's like in limbo. He's going to be stuck in the same position for a very long time. And for me, looking at it looking at it in the future, I feel like, as LTA said, that he is going to decline. He is declining. So personally, for me, I would say that if he wins the championship this season, would I say he's a definite contender with Jordan? No, I wouldn't really say that.
Okay, so actually,
no, I can't say that. However,
go for it. Simon, go for it.
No, I was just literally gonna say that from how I'm looking at it right now, it's only just going to be a decline for LeBron James. So can he ever reach Jordan's level in the sense that, okay, you're the guy that overtook Jordan? No, I'm not gonna say that at all.
Okay, so before I go to Rebirth, LTA, quick question: Who's the better player, Dwayne Wade or Scottie Pippen?
Before I answer that, right?
No.
Can you let me talk before I answer that? No. I just want to read a comment to respond to Samuel and people like him. This person, BB89000098, said Ray Allen's shot was Game 6. Talk about LeBron in Game 7. I rest my case. Now, Dwayne Wade is better than Scottie Pippen because Dwayne Wade is the 3rd best shooting guard of all time.
That's what I wanted to know. Case closed. Thank you.
Yeah.
Rebirth.
And I also say this to you, LTA. Was it more of Miami Heat winning or was it more of San Antonio choking?
Don't bring that to my doorstep because they had Game 7. What happened in Game 7?
We choked that. And
LeBron,
if you look at it psychologically, if you're about to win and you make a shot like that and you end up winning Game 6, psychologically, how are you getting into Game 7? It's gonna put a down on your mind because you're thinking, oh wait, we were just about to win this and it's been taken away from us. So
Samuel,
that's why I blame us choking.
Samuel, I don't do sports psychology, so I can't help you with what you're talking about.
Okay, maybe I do sports psychology. That's why.
That's why.
Okay, Rebirth. Go for it, Rebirth.
Okay, so for me, the main premise of what I think about the situation is that context matters. Okay, so I do agree with LTA in the sense that, hey, you play your finals, you won your finals MVP, you should get some credit for it. However, whenever the whole idea behind diminishing KD's rings is the fact that, oh, it was easy, or the whole idea behind people elevate what Dirk Nowitzki did is because it just shows you the context. At the end of the day, context does matter, and we're allowed to contextualize the manner in which you won your rings, and that's okay. So when, just like Samuel just said, with the OKC young team, that's 1. With the Spurs choking, that's 2. And then with the Warriors, 3. It's I'm not going to discredit his rings because of the context, but the context still has an effect on our overall perception of his rings. And I think we should be allowed to say that. Having said all of that, I think that LeBron should, if LeBron doesn't win the chip this year, he's probably not going to get a better chance to win it. KD's not playing. Kyrie's not playing. Steph's not playing. Clay's not playing. People are this is your best chance to win the title. If you don't win it now, next year, we got there's more parity in the NBA than it's ever been in a long time. KD, Kyrie, Stephen, Clay, Porzingis, Doncic, Butler, Adebayo, Paul George, and Kawhi, Westbrook, and Harden. He's going to have a very hard time winning it after this point. And so, to me, if he does win it one more time, it doesn't change anything. I feel if you win 7, we'll have to have a conversation. If you win 6, we'll have to have a conversation. But with the way he's looking, he's not even going to be able to get that far. This is his last chance.
Saeed, give it to me.
All right, so let me just I'm not a LeBron fan. I'm a Lakers fan, but I'm not a LeBron fan. I'm always gonna argue till I die that Kobe Bryant is better than LeBron James. But then
Oh my god!
no one wants to hear it. But it's whatever. R.I.P. Kobe Bryant.
Oh
So
my lord!
R.I.P. Kobe Bryant. Like the problem is with LeBron is that the fact that um, like many people said, if he doesn't win it this season, then is he gonna win the title with the Lakers? Um, that's like at the end of the day, if LeBron does not win a chip with the Lakers, I mean,
It's a failure.
we can't rank him amongst the Lakers great. He'll be the he'll be as a Laker fan, he'll be an absolute failure. Let's be real. I mean, he could be great for all I care, but as a Laker, as a Lakers jersey, you have to win a title. As simple as that. And it's gonna damage his legacy. I feel like, which is why it's that's why it's not so sweet coming to the Lakers. It's just the pressure is just like you have to win a title, you have to. And then this is gonna damage his legacy even more if he doesn't win it. So he has to win it. He has no choice. Um, there's reports that come out right now, as of right now, after that game one loss, he's already mentioned comments saying that there's some things in the background that's disturbing us and blah blah blah, or something about like how something's going on amongst the Lakers in the bubble, where it seems like the excuse is already geared up. And this is one thing I never liked. Yeah, this one thing I never liked about LeBron is like he always wanted the media to be on his side. The media loves LeBron James, and they were always gonna fight for LeBron James. And I mean, the whole Jordan LeBron, and then I mean, I think I don't know your name, LT, is it?
LTA.
Yeah. So you said LeBron is a better player than Jordan in what? LeBron has never been a good shooter, in my opinion, and that's a fundamental aspect of the game. And Jordan has been a better shooter than him. Is LeBron
a better passer?
Yeah, I mean,
LeBron is a better passer.
that's true. That's true. LeBron is a better passer. One of the best passers I've ever seen in my life. I have never seen someone pass like LeBron. I practice that when I play outside and stuff like that. I practice to pass like LeBron, which is a big credit to him. But as an all-around better basketball player, there's no way in hell is LeBron James a better basketball player than Jordan. So I mean, it's like most people said that yes, with all of one thing I don't get why it's always about the narrative of LeBron. Just go out there and just do your job, and at the end of the day, when you retire, then we can have the discussion. But as of right now, do your job.
Okay. So now, just for our final thing before we end this, Kawhi. Question to the panel. Has there ever been a superstar player who has won with 3 different teams, being the finals MVP on 3 different teams?
No.
Beautiful. So let's play a game. Let's play what if. Now, again, as we've all started this whole thing, neutral venue, it's crazy, Clippers looking dodgy, Paul George. Let's just play what if. What if Kawhi wins this NBA championship with the Clippers and is the finals MVP? Where would we now place him in the pantheon of great players with regards to their achievements? LTA.
We place him with Larry Bird, with Magic Johnson. In that vicinity, he would just have 3 wings. Larry Bird has 3 rings.
Oh my!
Larry Bird has 3 rings in the 80s, and Larry Bird had a back.
Are you like a numbers merchant? Are you a mathematical merchant?
No. The thing is, I'm not a mathematical merchant, but you don't have to be a narrative merchant. We don't have to. Everything doesn't have to be strictly narrative. Just because he changed location doesn't mean that much to me. 3 different teams. 3 different elite teams. He went to the Toronto Raptors, who are a fully formed monster, as they've shown. The Clippers, he brings in Paul George, and they're already a fully formed monster with Montrezl Harrell and Lou Williams. Kawhi Leonard will be in the same area as Larry Bird, one of the greatest small forwards ever, arguably maybe the greatest defensive wing ever. But he's not on the Mount Rushmore of basketball or anything crazy like that. We're not going to skip steps for him because we like him better than we like LeBron James. We hold them to the same standard because they have similar. That he's an elite, talented player. But we put him. When he wins 3, he'll be with Larry Bird. That's it. Nowhere else. We're not putting any farther higher. He'll have to, and he might not be able to sit at the same table as Larry Bird, but we'll look at him in the same category for sure.
Samuel,
would he be better than KD? Can I ask you a question? Do you put LeBron over Larry Bird?
Of course.
Okay, cool. Right. So you're gonna have to give me a moment with Kawhi Leonard because he's my favorite player in the NBA. Obviously, with my San Antonio days, I literally cried when he left. I still do not like the way that happened. But anyways,
Skip Bayless?
Say again?
I mean, never mind. I just made a comment. I said Skip Bayless, but anyways, go ahead.
Oh gosh, I'm not as mad as him. But Kawhi is the best two-way player in the NBA right now. If he wins this chip and has the Finals MVP, I'm not gonna. I did listen to a lot of what LTA said, and I have to agree slightly with it. I'm not going to. Obviously, I love him a lot, but I'm not going to overhype him. Let's look at the chip with San Antonio Spurs. I'm not gonna lie to you. He had help from Duncan. He had help from Parker. He had help from Ginobili.
For a young man, he was critical.
For a young man, he was critical, but that's the superstar in him. But he had a lot of help. He had a lot. Let's not lie. And you have the greatest coach of all time in Pop, helping you as well. So he had a lot of help there. Now for the Toronto Raptors win, I give him a lot of credit for because he did. Giannis, please get out of here. Anyways, get out of here.
I don't know if you see your reaction, man. Look, man, respect my Nigerian brother, man. I like him, but please, just get that with that comment. Anyways, that actually lost my train of thought because of that now. See, so talking about the Toronto Raptors win now, I give him a lot of credit for that because he led that team full of role players. However, if you look at the Golden State Warriors team, I'll have to keep the same energy. There was a lot of injuries there. If KD and Klay Thompson plays, we know this.
Exactly. However, I still do give him a lot of credit. Now, if you look at this team with the LA Clippers, I believe they have probably the second best or the third best team in the NBA right now. So if they win, it's not really much of a surprise to me. However, PG, please get over 20 points the next game, please. Anyways,
overrated. PG's all overrated, bro.
He's not that good.
Anyways, let me let the point. I won't be surprised if he wins it. So it's not going to be a thing where I'm going to put him on Mount Rushmore, 3 titles, 3 NBA Finals, NBA Finals MVPs with 3 teams. I'm not going to do that. For me, it's more of expected. But when we're looking at Mount Rushmore, when we're looking at LeBron James, when we're looking at Bill Russell, when we're looking at Larry Bird, there was just excellence there. I don't think Kawhi Leonard has that nonchalant of excellence. He can be in the same conversation as them, but can I say they're above them if he wins this and gets the Finals MVP? No, not really. I'm not going to say that.
Okay. Rebirth.
Yes. Before I get into my point, if I may, I just want to ask a quick question. At the moment, do we consider Kawhi to be a better player than KD?
Yeah, KD tore his Achilles. Yeah, for sure.
I mean, we don't know what KD's going to look like. So let's just assume that KD's normal. Is Kawhi better?
That is actually a very hard question.
They're very different players.
That's a very hard question because Kawhi is a beast on the defense. Mm-hmm. However, KD is a beast on the offense.
Healthy KD is the best.
Yeah, I would say KD.
KD's a freak, man. Freak.
Okay. Because what I was going to say was, like, if Kawhi were to win this last title, because like I feel like whenever we talk about these great players, it's one thing with the winning the championships, but it's also one thing about them being elite players on their own. Because when you think about KD and all these other players, they have MVPs, scoring titles, like all these fancy things, like with your name. For Kawhi, he doesn't have any of that, but he still has like the titles, and he has the Finals MVPs in that regard. So that's why I wanted to find the context to know whether or not Kawhi would be. So at the moment, we would assume that Kawhi is not as good as KD. Okay, cool. If Kawhi wins another title, I do believe that it would elevate his status in the sense that he's the only player to have ever done it. But the fact that he doesn't have all the other glitz and glamour with the like an MVP or a scoring titles or all those other things, I feel like you can't really force him to like the elite status with the Larry Birds and the MJs and LeBrons and whatever, because he doesn't have the other things that they do. So he would exist as the only player to have won 3 titles with 3 different teams with 3 final MVP. He's the only one who would have that title, but that would be it. I wouldn't force him into like the upper echelon of those other players, you know. But so I mean, let me ask this question: if Kawhi wins this year, is he better than KD then?
Oh, my propaganda will be so high. He will be so high if he does that.
I mean, see, for me, when you say better, as in better player or greater, those are 2 different things.
Well, he'll be greater.
Better player, or he'd just be greater in terms of achievement. In terms of achievement, he'd be greater. But as I said, KD is a cheat code.
An alien, man. An alien.
So he's a cheat code.
But we're talking about cheat code on the offense. Because Kawhi outdoes him in the defense. And he's the best 2-way player in the NBA.
Yeah, KD is a decent defender in his own right.
Did you see what the Warriors made KD? KD was a rim protector. I said the second to last year he left, where they had.
Are we going to call KD a better defender than Kawhi?
Never in a million years. Never in a million years.
Okay,
so allow me to end with this. So as good as we're going to like put Kawhi, I do think that if they don't take care, Luka Doncic and Porzingis might snipe them. So they better get serious.
Stop it. And I love
bro.
Luka.
You never know, man. You never know.
I love Luka, but stop it.
No, look, but you never know, man. Shout out to my white brother, Doncic.
No, Luka's a monster.
Most of okay, side run
25 points at least.
Side rounders of Kawhi.
I just feel like it's just crazy because I was just thinking about like you're looking at all this player like KD has 2 rings, Kawhi has 2 rings, LeBron has 3, Steph has 3, and then if Kawhi wins another ring, he will have 3 titles. And you look at it and you're like, okay, he has no MVPs, he doesn't have a lot of scoring titles and all that stuff, but yet he still has 3 NBA titles and he's only 29 years old. So, I mean, what are we saying here? Like, if Kawhi does end up winning a title, then he can end up winning more titles than LeBron James. When their career ends, like it's just crazy just to think about it that way. But yeah, I love Kawhi. I really do love Kawhi. I mean, the whole KD and Kawhi debate is a very good debate, and man, what a matchup that could. You never know. They might come meet each other in the finals because one is in the East and one is in the West. But I mean, like I love Kawhi, and but then I don't know. This Mavs matchup doesn't look like a good matchup for the Clippers guys. They look bad against this Mavs. They look terrible. I've seen them. I watched the 2 games, and the Mavs are clearly the better team of the 2 games. They were the better team. So This Mavs team is looking crazy, guys. It's looking crazy, and I favor the Mavs. I think they might get knocked out. That's where I'm at.
So, guys, we'll maybe do a few minutes of questions. So, guys, sending questions. We'll maybe do like a few minutes of questions. So, while guys are sending in questions, all I want is one answer. And obviously, when we'll try and do this like every week at a time, so maybe your answers will change. So, for this week, from what you see, gut feeling, who wins the NBA championship this season. So just one answer. Who wins it? I don't want two. I don't want three. I want one and two. Just give me one team. Who wins it and why? LTA.
Miami Heat.
What?
Huh? What?
Okay, why?
What?
I thought my one was outrageous.
Jimmy Buckets?
I know for sure that I don't believe in the Bucks. I don't believe in Giannis at all. Like at all.
100%. 100%.
They're not scary. They don't scare nobody. So I think the Heat are going to make it out the East. I think that either the Clippers or the Lakers are going to make it out the West. And the Clippers have no guard play. And I mean, the Lakers have no guard play. And the Clippers have no facilitators. And they don't have like a starting center. I think Bam Adebayo is going to be one of the futures of the NBA. Like, he is amazing. He can guard on the perimeter. And he can protect the interior. Jimmy Butler's on a mission. Goran Dragic looks good. Duncan Robinson is the best shooter in the NBA while Steph is out. And Tyler Hero, the rookie coming off the bench. I believe that the Miami Heat are going to win the NBA title. Because I would have said the Clippers, but I saw the Clippers, and Montrezl Harrell looks terrible. Lou Williams looks terrible. And Paul George is back to being his old PG-13 self.
George Paul.
Okay, well, obviously, your fan says that he'll make his guy, but you're tripping. But we'll see. If it's going to be right, then look, man, we'll all have an egg on our face. Samuel, man, who wins this year?
Celtics will win it. My boy Tatum is going to come up trumps.
That's a good one.
My boy Tatum will come up trumps.
That's a good one.
Because when you said Miami Heat, I was thinking I'm going down the same route as you're going down, but I don't think Miami Heat would really push it to the finals. I feel that Celtics will do it. Celtics, the way they are playing, the way they are all coming together right now, they are going to make it out the East. They are going to make it out the East, 100%.
That's a good one.
Okay, so before I come to Rebirth, I want to say the Rockets, but I have such
another good one.
No. I have such disbelief in James Harden. He is such a choker.
They just won.
I can't say them because
they
of
just
James
beat the
Harden.
Thunder. They just beat the Thunder just now.
I mean,
They're up 2-0 already. The Thunder are a good team.
Man, look, I don't know. Wait, see. Let James Harden show me that he has some balls in a high pressure situation.
Houston Rockets are not coming out the second round, please.
What I saw Luka do to the Clippers yesterday, James Harden would do that times 10. Oh my Lord.
Okay. Rebirth, man. Who are you taking?
This might shock a bunch of people, but I'm actually going to side with Mr. LTA. I think the Heat are in pole position. And I'll tell you why. I have the playoff thing looked out. If you right now, the Heat are against the Pacers. If they beat the Pacers to go up against the Bucks, and we already know the problems that the Bucks have. And the Heat will be a bad matchup. All right? Now, the Celtics are going to take over the 76ers, and then they have to run into the Raptors. It's a toss-up to who wins over there. But at that point, the Heat might, they could or they couldn't, but I want to give them the benefit of the doubt. As far as the West is concerned, no matter who comes out of this, they're going to be in very poor shape because the Lakers are struggling with the Trailblazers. If the Trailblazers make it, they've run out of gas because they've been going at it 100%. Rockets, James Harden. Lakers can't shoot. Thunder are going to be out. The Nuggets and the Jazz, no one really cares about them at the moment, even though they're decent. And then with the Clippers, you have the George Paul and Paul George, and they're not really gelling. Like, that's the biggest issue with them. They have good players, but not gelling well together. And so I think that we should really take a look at these. I would consider secondary teams that are just under the radar because they could make some serious noise.
Most definitely.
Okay.
Thank you, Rebirth.
So sorry. Before we go to the other side, it says, have your guests drug tested before coming on? The Heat, that would be a shocker. Look, man.
Listen, I said Celtics.
If he was here at the beginning, he would have heard that all the contenders, the Bucks, Clippers, and Lakers are all really flawed. Anybody could win. The Heat have a chance.
Look. Okay. I'm okay. Sideman, what about you? I mean, who are you taking?
It's gonna shock everyone, but I'm taking the Mavs. Mavs gonna win
crazy, man.
Your choice. That's okay.
Let's just say you're on drugs now.
That's insane.
Now you're on drugs. Now you're on drugs.
That's insane.
Yo, this team is the real deal, man. This team is a real deal.
I don't believe in a unicorn that much.
Seth Curry, bro, he's going off.
You
Looking
guys
like
are
Steph.
Basketball is a two-way game. The Mavericks don't play defense, my friend. Luka
Nah,
Doncic
bro.
can't guard anyone. He's a bad defender. He's an amazing player, but he's a bad defender. You're crazy. The Mavericks are not a good defensive team.
Bro, I am telling you, the Mavs are gonna win the NBA title.
I'd
They
love to
will.
see it.
They
I'd love to
will.
see it.
Trust me, guys. It's all about matchups. Trust me.
Okay. So let's take some questions and then we'll get out of here. So on Daniel Jones, who said, "Thank you, Membo." He says, "I'm someone who doesn't watch much basketball. I watch a lot of football. How does someone like me get into basketball? I want to understand the sport a lot more. I want to know the players more. So, I mean, let me start first with LTA. What would be the best way for someone getting entry into basketball? How would you sort of advise them?"
You probably should get into different podcasts. That's how I actually got into like watching a football. You guys call it football, because when I was in college, guys were really into football, and then I started listening to Have Hope, and now I listen to Talking Tactics, and that's like how I really got into football. With basketball, there's the Athletic. You know the Athletic app. They have lots of basketball podcasts, and all the podcasts are free. You listen to Nerdish You Wrote. Just the entire like basketball podcast on the Athletic is good. This is the best podcast you listen to is called Dunked On with Nick Duncan. It's like an in-depth analysis about basketball. It really goes deep. And just watch a lot of basketball. Do not listen to Skip Bayless. Don't listen to nobody on ESPN.
Please don't.
Don't listen to anybody on ESPN about basketball. Stephen A. Smith, Max Kellerman. Those guys are there for the trolls. They're not being serious. They don't have real opinions.
Absolute trolls.
You listen to basketball podcasts where people are there to provide information. On ESPN, they're there to entertain you and get you riled up. So basketball podcasts, Dunked On, Nick Duncan, and all the basketball podcasts on the Athletic app. The Athletic.
Okay. Someone.
I would say the same thing in the sense that do not listen to Skip Bayless. Do not listen to Shannon Briggs. They talk absolute rubbish on that show. Absolute rubbish. But I feel like this question is more suited towards me because obviously I'm from London and I played a lot of football, but I started getting into basketball when I was 15, 16. Really and truly, because I started playing a lot of basketball and I got into it. And this is where when I started supporting San Antonio Spurs, it was because of like their international reach. They had a lot of players, obviously Ginobili from Argentina, Tony Parker from France. Exactly. So it kind of related to me a lot more. And one thing about it is that I just love the way that they played. It's like you had players that were old or players from the D League and you can come together and make a championship team. Now, that's all thanks to Pop, but I just love the way they played. The passing, the movement, everything. And that's how I can translate it into football, in a sense. I love the passing, the movement, getting into space. I love it when players that are not that good can fit in a system and they're performing than what you thought they could perform. So that's how I got into basketball. But really and truly, how I wouldn't say force it, just naturally go into it. Don't put a ton of bricks of information in it's never going to work like that. The first thing I will always say to somebody is just watch basketball, especially the playoff games. I think that's the most interesting games to get into. The NBA regular season for a starter or beginner is not really. It can get long sometimes, and especially if you're from England, the games are at ridiculous times. Yeah. But I would just say watch the playoffs. Just get slowly into it, then start looking at as LTA said, these podcasts, the Athletic, and then you can start listening to Shannon and them, and then you can realize the rubbish that they're talking about.
Okay, Rebirth, what do you say?
Yes. So for me, I think in terms of getting into anything, it really has to do with like a gateway, because usually it's like one thing about you that you can find and connect to the sport of basketball, and then that is what opens the door to all of it. And so LT mentioned podcasts. You like to listen to podcasts, listen to basketball podcasts, get you into watching basketball or playing basketball yourself, or video games. Some people just pick up a 2K even though the game sucks.
2K.
Play 2K.
Most definitely.
Now you want to watch it. For me personally, this is kind of fun, but for me personally, being that I'm an anime manga fan. I was watching Kuroko no Basket, and it's just like a basketball anime. And I just saw the crazy stuff that they were doing, and I was like, "Yo," because I never seen basketball before that. I saw that. That's how I knew the rules or anything. It's like I want to see the real thing. And then I went over and I watched the real thing, and then now I truly will and truly enjoy it. So it's all about a gateway. For me, it was anime. That was my gateway. You just have to find what your gateway is, and then that will lead you right into it.
All right, and I think before I come to his side, I think basically for me, because obviously they used to show basketball games in Nigeria in the 90s. And basically the reason why Orlando Magic are my team is I just liked Penny Hardaway. So Penny Hardaway was the first player that I liked. And I remember reading an article about it. And also I really liked 3-point shooters and so forth. So Magic were just my team. But I think because they showed a lot of basketball in the 90s and so forth. And also Hakeem Olajuwon, who was Nigerian, him going to the Rockets, it was obviously a big deal in Nigeria as well. And also playing on my school's basketball team and so forth, I already had like a kinship for it to begin with. So mine is a bit different. So I didn't really have to find it because it was already thrust upon me when I was like already very young. But these are good suggestions. Syed, what about you? How would you say best way for someone?
To be honest, because I can only speak about my own perspective. I grew up watching basketball. To be honest, I talk a lot about football, but I didn't get into football till later in my teens, to be honest. Can you hear me, guys?
Yeah, we can hear you.
And for me, I grew up playing basketball. I grew up watching basketball. I always had that dream to go into the NBA and everything. I just feel like just gotta like people said, you gotta find a gateway to get into basketball. If you're more like people said into podcasts and stuff like that, then go ahead and listen to that. And maybe that could get you into it, or maybe even playing 2K. Stuff like that, 2K, like video games and stuff like that. That somehow the more you play, the more you get into it, the more you learn about the game, the more interest you get, and then also giving it a chance. To be honest, sometimes it might be as simple as that. Just sit down and then just watch it and find something that interests you amongst the game. Do you like more to see how organized teams are in terms of their defensive setups? Are you more into skill based where you're like, wow, I like that player because he's a good dribbler and he's good at handling? Do you like players that are like shooters? Like for example, you have Steph Curry. Man, like the guy gets everyone excited. Like that James Harden step back. You know what I mean? Like stuff like that to get you. You know what? All right, this is the kind of basketball I like. This is what I like, and kind of like focus on that, and that can get you into it.
So let's just be really brief. We'll take 2 more questions and just be really brief so we can catch this Lakers Blazers game. So let's be really quick with this. So Melody K here says, who do you think will be the face of the NBA in the next 5 years? Also follow World Weary Gear on Instagram. Shameless plug. Hey, it is what it is, man. How old is Jason Tatum?
He's 22.
21 or something.
23. 23.
24, 26, 27.
There's going to be one face, and I know who he is.
So LTA, who do you say then? Next 5 years.
Okay, I'll be short, but just there's only 4 options that we have. It's Jason Tatum, John Morant, Luka, and Giannis. Those are the only options that we have. And as much as I think it should be Giannis, I think by the time Luka's 25, it'll be Luka.
Oh, so you think Luka will be the face of the NBA?
In 5 years? Probably. Luka's ridiculous.
I don't think they will allow it.
Why not? Well, why not? Why not?
He's foreign. American loves the Americans.
Yeah.
Okay.
Even Black Americans in general, like they want your own.
So, Summer, what about you? Who do you think it will be?
They're gonna push for Zion. They're gonna really push for Zion.
They try.
I can already see it now. they're gonna really push it. And I don't want him to be the face because I believe that it should be Tatum or as LTA said, Doncic. But they're gonna push for Zion. They're really gonna push for Zion.
Rebirth.
I agree with LTA that it's between 4 people. Although for me, the 4 are Giannis, Doncic, Tatum, and Trae Young. I think with the way the NBA is moving towards more shooters, 3-pointers, Trae Young has a very good chance to sneak in there. But I would give it to Doncic. I think Doncic is like
right.
He's a relevant boy too. So I got it.
Saeed, what about you? Who do you think it should be?
Oh man, I might be. This might be left field. I don't know if anyone said this or I might missed it. I like John Morant. Oh my god.
John Morant.
John Morant. I like that player I like the player when he was playing in college, and I like him in the Grizzlies. That kid can ball. Phenomenal. Him like I don't know about Trae Young. Maybe Devin Booker.
That's a good one.
Yeah, Devin Booker.
That's a good shout. That's a very good shout.
How old is he?
20. He's like 21,
23.
Yeah, Devin Booker. Yeah,
I actually forgot about him
because he came in the league like 18. He's young.
Yeah, he did.
I mean, I like Jason Tatum, but I don't know about. I like Jason. He's very talented, but I don't know. I feel like he still has more development to do, and I don't know, man. Like Jason Tatum is a iffy one for me, but yeah, John Morant, Devin Booker, of course, Luka. Yeah, those guys, man.
So, final question, and then we'll be out of here. Final question. So, why was Jordan not as great a team owner as he was a great player, given his will to win? He just didn't know how to pick them team-wise. LCA, how do you explain great player, brick owner? How come?
I think Charles Barkley said it best. That's why Charles Barkley said the reason why he and Michael Jordan don't talk anymore is because Charles Barkley went on TV and said Michael Jordan surrounds himself with only yes men. And since then, Michael Jordan never spoke to Charles Barkley again. That was years ago. Michael Jordan is a bad owner, probably because he surrounds himself with yes men. That's one. And I think, two, because Michael Jordan is one of the only people who values like people who won in college because he won in college. So you look at the people he drafted, he drafts people who did well in college and were on winning teams. But that only worked out for him once with Kemba Walker. And thirdly, he just hires bad GMs. Like right now, he has Mitch Kupchak, which is the Lakers' old GM, who was bad for the Lakers. That's why they were losing all these years. And Michael Jordan goes and picks him up because he went to North Carolina like Michael Jordan. Michael Jordan, his focuses are just on stupid stuff, like loyalty to his college school. So he'll hire you if you went to UNC. He has lots of people who are yes men around him. So it's not going to work out, but I think the Hornets are going to be better real soon. But he just like to draft people from college who win. It's just a lot of bad things. He just focuses on all the wrong things as an owner.
Samuel?
It's the same like question or answer that you give where you have if a great player in football can become a great manager. Like it's not a guarantee. And as LTA said, he's just a bad owner. I'm not gonna lie. Charlotte Hornets are not gonna get anywhere with him in the next 10 years. I don't care. In the next 10 years, I don't think so at all. Because the people that he drafts, the players that he gets in, it doesn't make sense. The max contract players that he has right now. Who's the max contract that he has right now? He has.
Oh my God, he's trash. The French dude.
Terrible.
Nicholas Batum. Oh my God.
Batum.
Give him a max contract like a fool. Oh my God.
It's on the same level as Philly's what's it called? A max contract. Harris.
It's terrible. Lord have mercy.
They're not even all-stars as well. But anyways, yeah, you got decisions like that, and you're just thinking you're not really going to get anywhere in the next few years, are you? And then also, which is a very good point, the loyalties he has to his university or college. It's just that I feel like he wants to have him. He's not really. I don't think he will really change with the times. He just wants to have him at the center of everything. It has to be what he values, what he what he does, if you get what I'm saying. So, as I said, Charlotte Hornets are not going to get anywhere with in the next few years, man. It's sad.
Rebirth.
Yes, this isn't really my area of expertise, so I'm not going to go too into it. I think simply it would just be a case of sometimes great players don't make great managers.
So
So
simple as that. Yeah.
I don't really have much
Different
else to say.
profession. Okay, Saeed.
So for me, I think it's like that one thing where like me, because he played the game, he was like he's the best player to ever play the game. He has so much knowledge about the game. I think that's actually his Achilles heel, because he wants to be so hands-on in decision making and all that stuff. Where, for example, if you have an owner that just buys a team that loves the game, that doesn't know much about the game, what would that owner do? They'll hire the best people like to do that job for him. And that's his big problem, in my opinion. Like, he just needs to hire the best of the best, and like in terms of like the team management, the management, finding players and orchestrating the best team. And I feel like he's too hands-on. And also, one thing we need to also put in perspective is that we already talked about the Charlotte Hornets, and they're not in a good market as well. So, I mean,
True.
there's not much.
Terrible market.
True.
Oh,
Yeah, and people like players likes to go to big markets, So he has that competition. So, yeah.
okay. So, guys, thank you. This was a great first show. So, hopefully, we'll be back here again next week, reviewing whatever. Because obviously, so once this football week is over, then I can now pay much more attention to the playoffs. So we'll be back here again next week. We're trying to find the time. Look on the channel for when we'll schedule the show, and we'll then review what's happening with the playoffs and so forth and everything. But guys, thank you for being a part of this, and we'll hopefully see you guys next week, man. Peace, guys. Peace.
Deuces.